Hello, and welcome to Robot Lumberjack Radio. Josh has been fired. Unfortunately. Not actually, but he's very much in trouble. It could have been the move and him simply not having internet. Or it could have been the stickers that were lewd that he put on the back of my dad's truck. It was very emotional when I got home and my dad saw the lewd stickers, and now he wants to know what Dragon Ball is.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Literally, the conversation was like, so that girl with big anime tits, I'm like, she doesn't have big tits in the anime. That girl with big anime tits. Okay, Dad.
Thanks, Pops.
That's not actually what happened. Josh is moving right now. We brought in a ringer of the show. We were trying to get Ben, and then we were also going to try to get somebody else. And then Ben was like, I'm emotional. No. And we're like, okay. So we brought Mike in.
Hi.
Who always has something to say, has a hate boner for the industry.
Yeah,
and is going to have fun. Yeah. How are you, Mike?
I'm doing all right. Sad at the state of the world, perhaps, but personally, at the small scale, micro scale, everything's just crazy.
Could always be worse.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. But it's okay. We have decided that it was a great idea in order to talk about important things this week, like how do I put it? Mike, we have alien catgirls coming.
This is news to me, according to who?
According to the United States government.
I will dare say, can I get a source on that? But can you be more specific?
Hold on, let me bring up the source. So they recently released a bunch of documents and stuff like that regarding aliens and stuff like that.
Oh, this thing. Okay, I think I know where this is going.
So executive summary: on the July 12th of January 1994, approximately 23:17 hours, a non-terrestrial humanoid entity was encountered by the U.S. Army reconnaissance patrol during a routine perimeter sweep in the Nevada Test and Training Range. The entity appears to be a bipedal female form humanoid with feline characteristics. To me, this sounds like as if this was a girl wearing like one of those cat ear headbands.
Yeah, how do we know that the Koreans aren't coming up with some really weird out there stealth tech or something like that?
Including external ears, appendages, caudal appendage, so probably a tail. The entity exhibited intelligence, communicated in English, this is just adding to my theory, and displayed non-hostile behavior. The entity was temporarily retained, medically examined, and later released at approximately 0:4300 hours on 13th of January 1994. Subject designation N7. That this is 100% true, Mike, clearly. Mass Effect. It's a Mass Effect. Parent gender female, estimated age 20 to 25 Earth years. Eyes, gray silver. Distinctive features: feline ear appendage, mobile, feline caudal appendage, approximately 78 centimeters. So this got released and the internet just started going wild.
This sounds like a fanfic and or shitpost.
You would think, but they also released the Pentagon released the alien files, and to be fair,
you don't think the Pentagon's capable of fucking around?
I mean, I think it says something when they're like, we're gonna go up to the Earth leaders, religious leaders of the world. We're just going to ask them a quick question. Hey, how would you, if we revealed that there were aliens, how would you feel about that?
Oh, is this something the government seriously asked a bunch of
this is something the government seriously did.
Oh. Well, why are you asking that question? Oh, no reason.
Look, we have reason to believe that there are aliens. We don't know how to reveal said aliens to people. So we're going to go to you and we're going to ask you what you think about it. And you have people who are like, they're demons. Yes. And then you have people like me who are like, I have two sides. Fuck Xenos and fuck Xenos.
Well, I've heard some discussion around this, around the idea that I've seen a lot of like Christian responses to, well, what if aliens actually are real? What if they're not? And generally speaking, there's kind of no reason to freak out more than anybody else, at least from the so-called Christian perspective, for various reasons. But yeah, I think that the key distinction would be freak out more than anybody else. I think people in general would just kind of lose their shit altogether, regardless of religious or lack thereof stripe. That's a lot to deal with.
I mean, I just think that a lot of this is very evident that, like, how do I put it? I think a lot of this is like, hey, like, they're trying to be conscientious. The crazier stuff is like, okay, why are all of these sources just getting killed?
Oh, like the scientists?
Yeah, all these scientists are getting murdered, and it's like, okay, but why?
Yeah.
Like, that one is a little bit more like striking for me. Is like, hey, maybe
that's endangering them so much.
Right. What makes this guy so special? And how did he get into a Tesla without a car, without his phone?
An excellent point. An excellent question.
Yes. This is important. Like, this is incredibly important. I need to know.
Yeah.
So there's that question, and there's the other question of, like, you know, okay, you said this is everything, but we've heard that before. And what do you mean by that? Because, like, if you're saying that, like, oh, well, you know, there's stuff in this, we know that we're right 100% and everything like that. I expect there to be a lot more evidence out there of, like, hey, this is the stuff that we've known for years. And, like, I would expect there to be a lot more information released. I would not just expect, hey, there's alien catgirls, and, like, we've encountered a bunch of people and stuff like that. This doesn't seem as explosive as, like, the Epstein files.
Yeah, I think what it's also reflective of is a general, what do you want to say? There's this, to invoke some kind of cultural import here. There's this Dave Chappelle bit I heard a long time ago that said something to the effect of, he was commiserating with the younger generations and how back in his day, so to speak, there was, like, every once in a while, but, like, definitely spaced out, there would be some big national tragedy, like I think he referenced the the Challenger, whatever it was, the shuttle that exploded, and it was a big national tragedy. But he talks about how nowadays, for kids, especially exposed to the news cycle that we're exposed to, there's a tragedy happening, like, every week. Some tragic shooting or happenstance or war or whatever, natural disaster. There's just no escaping it. And the frequency is just so unrelenting that it seems the danger and catastrophe seems omnipresent, which naturally can only really lead to a desensitizing effect. That as you get exposed to more and more tragedy, just what could it all mean? Who can possibly give each and every one of those events any significant emotional gravitas? And the reason I mention all this is I think with the Epstein files, I actually think the calculated move of sorts in releasing those was to induce that kind of cultural malaise, or at least to get an index for where that cultural malaise is at, because honestly, I don't think I'd be speaking just for myself here, but if they announced aliens existed,
You would be,
sure
Tuesday.
I'm not sure that I wouldn't or would not believe it, but I wouldn't be able to. I doubt I'd be able to give it like the proper emotional response, and definitely not the proper emotional space that kind of event or revelation would demand. Like maybe I would believe it or I disbelieve it. Like who knows, right? There'd just be this omnipresence. I can't really take this at face value, and I definitely can't react appropriately. And I feel like a lot of people would react similarly. They'd be like, "Oh, aliens are real." One, fake news, and two, who cares? I don't know.
Well, it's definitely getting to the point where people are like just really kind of like desensitized and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
But like you also have like the problem is you also have the other problem where it's like, okay, well, let's say aliens are real and stuff like that. Cool. We're so advanced at this point that like things like you could tell me that like we've actually had warp travel for a long time, and I would go, oh, okay, cool, that's interesting.
I guess I see it.
Yeah, because like
doubting Thomas's out of all of us.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's the thing, right? It's like the government as an entity has done a really terrible job of just being honest.
Yeah.
And like they really have treated a lot of people like, oh, well, you don't need to know that because you're not cleared for that.
Yeah. This
and
the
like
compartmentalization and the assuming of what people can and cannot handle. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it's like, I personally speaking, it's like, okay, well, with everything that has been coming out for the past like couple of months, like it's kind of like getting to the point where it's like, okay, guys, I think that like there's something definitely wrong here. Like there's definitely something up. We definitely know that there's something up, and we definitely need to like have the answers given. And now we're at the point where it's like, okay, well, I'm just going to be honest. I don't think that this is the worst thing that in the world, but
yeah, and it's also like the ever present now kind of suspicion or the assumption the release of this information is strategic, and what exactly would be the strategic goal in releasing it at this time? What are they trying to distract us from? Would be the portmanteau of it. If they told us that aliens were real, what kind of grave sin, perhaps, would they be trying to cover up?
Well, in the case of last year, a lot of it was, oh, my son's in the last president. Oh, my son's in the news. Quick, cover it up. Yeah. So that seems to be probably the more tenuous position. Me personally, I think that it's a lot more likely that this is going to be something where, as things kind of evolve and we get more information, it's going to be like, oh, okay, this isn't as big of a deal as we thought. But on to video games and nerd shit.
Yeah.
Good, important things.
The deception of the masses.
Yeah,
strategic global security.
Yeah, we have to talk about the thing that is currently resulted in so much of our lives being positive and everybody being happy, and now everybody just going, oh, okay. Mike, have you played a video game this week?
I have. The question, if you're asking if I played a new video game this week, I think you know the answer to that.
No. What video game did you play this week, Mike? Was it Skyrim with mods?
No, it's been Fallout 4 with mods.
Oh, okay. Fallout London?
No, actually, that's one that's on my radar. But actually, I was working through the. They did do the Capital Wasteland project, so they're the ones that are basically trying to recreate Fallout 3 by way of Fallout 4 assets. They already published a number of smaller scale projects, but one that I actually just went through was their recreation of Point Lookout, and it was actually like an extreme. I played Fallout 3 and I played the DLCs for it, including Point Lookout. The recreation they did was like pretty high fidelity. It seemed extremely loyal and meticulous with regards to recreating the Fallout 3 experience. It's really cool.
Okay.
So, but Fallout London is also another one of those ones like Project Mojave that I have on kind of my checklist of, oh yeah, I'll get around to checking that out once I get through checking out, like dozens of other small scale mod projects. But yeah, Fallout London on the radar.
Mm-hmm. That's good. Yeah, and you're like this is so awesome and amazing.
Yeah, of course. I love playing Fallout 4 with mods, and specifically, I've been tailoring or have ended up cultivating a very specific feeling, let's say, with regards to what I'm after by playing Fallout 4, and that actually, the way I've been describing it is I crave a certain kind of zen, and it's a zen that's achieved by the presence of abject horror medicated with overwhelming firepower. I like being in the presence of spooky, scary shit, as long as I also have a fuck-off gun to deal with the spooky, scary stuff.
Sweet.
And so to that end, there's just lots of Resident Evil monsters and Silent Hill overhauls and whatever that I've been playing with, and it makes it a truly terrifying experience. It's a lot of fun.
Fallout 4, a terrifying experience.
Yeah, independent of the...
It's not the glitches, though.
Yeah.
It's just everything else that makes us terrifying. Really.
It just works, Jeff. It just works.
Does it, Todd Howard? Does it just work?
He's in a chess
that's awesome.
Show.
I mean, Fallout 4 for me has always been like one of those interesting games where it's like, hey, Bethesda actually tried to make a good combat system for once.
They did.
And then on top of that, they were like, by the way, it's still a buggy mess. And it's like...
Yeah, it is. For sure.
It's like, this is the reason why you guys probably should switch to Unreal.
You see, they did that for Oblivion Remaster, and they got a lot of shit for that.
But here's the thing.
They didn't solely switch to it. I guess they kind of did a hybrid sort of a deal with it. So
here's the thing with Unreal is I understand that people are like, oh my god, every game studio switching to Unreal, it's terrible, it's awful, and everything like that. I agree. And Epic really is a terrible fucking company and stuff like that. But I look at Starfield and that's worse.
Starfield is one of those ones that I've been meaning to get into for a long time, but never got the start up, never began it in earnest.
It's literally the game equivalent of, hey, we don't know what we're making, but we're going to try and make we're going to try and make a game that's very, very much like a Bethesda game. And instead of making a cool project, they made literally Fallout in space with loading simulators in between.
Yeah, I don't like the sound of that.
Yeah. Whereas, if you wanted to be ambitious, then, their excuses were just well, space doesn't have a lot of stuff in it. And it's that's cool, Todd. Then I should go down to a planet and there should be literally a point where it says, hey, there's nothing here.
Yeah, I think it just comes down to the fact that the creation kit and procedural generation, I'm not sure in principle there's a way to make that work. The twain just never are going to work. It works really well for pre-crafted worlds with lots of physics interactables and entities, but procedural generation kind of You need something more flexible than kind of box cells, which is what the creation engine seems to rely on heavily. Anyways, Starfield, what a tragedy.
It's what that game really needed was
horses.
What the game needed to be was one linear level.
Yeah.
But the sad part is, I know what they're gonna say is they're gonna be like, oh well, just so you know, this game is this game is literally just an absolute dumpster fire, and it's going to be used as something where people are going to be like, well, this is the reason why we can't make new IPs, because every single time we make a new IP, it fails. And it's like, no, it fails because you made a bad game.
Yeah, no, that's an important distinction.
Yeah. But I played the opposite of, apparently Japan never got those notes.
Oh, pretell.
And Capcom decided that cocaine was a good idea.
It's always a good idea.
So they took Dead Space, and then they were like, what if we stick a little girl in this game and then make a game where you play as basically her adopted father.
Yeah.
And you kill killer robots.
Dad kill robot, protect girl.
Yeah, dad kill killer robot, protect girls. Yeah. And apparently it was too intense for the rest of the world, and everybody lost their fucking mind. And that was how Pragmata was made.
Yeah.
Pragmata is a really interesting game. It's really fun. The way that the game works is basically you have to hack the robots, and then you can shoot them in the weak spot for massive damage.
Right. Okay.
So you have your little girl companion named Diane, literally is a robot. She rides on your back, Yoda style. And then you use the face buttons to hack into the console and go around basically a grid, hack the enemies, and then you're like, okay, now I kill you. And it's an interesting gameplay mechanic that works really well.
Yeah, does it play smooth, or does it get in the way at all?
It plays really smooth. You can still, the robots will take damage, they just have armor.
Right.
So they will take damage, they will die.
But when you hack them, they'll open up their ventilation ports and expose a weak spot or some other nonsense like that.
Yeah.
Okay, tight.
Yeah, it's not going to be one of those games where I think that people are going to be the main selling point is the interaction with Diana,
right,
and stuff like that, and exploring this unique environment and stuff like that. And everything I've seen about it has made me go, I should play this. And then I finally bought it, and I'm going to be honest, I'm probably going to keep playing it. Okay. I've been playing through Armed and Dangerous as of late, and that game is fucking hilarious.
That's a name I haven't heard in a long time. I completely forgot about that. What's the gist of that one again?
So Armed and Dangerous is basically it's a LucasArts game. You're looking for the Book of No, and it's just a comedy game. You have a gun that literally has a shark launcher.
I'm looking at the cover art for it right now. That's pretty crazy. That's pretty wacky.
Yeah. So, I've been playing through that, and then I've also been playing through Mouse BI, which is Hey Rubber Hose style, Doom-esque.
Oh, the boomer shooter, but it's all in noir and 50s cartoon.
And then as you're playing it, they're eventually oh, by the way, the shrews are going missing, and you're like, this is obviously a reference to the Jews. I'm going to be honest,
so to speak.
This kind of feels like you're referencing the Jews, and apparently, according to other people I played with, they're like, yeah, basically the end of the game is basically Trump bad. And I'm like, really? That's interesting. And this game, it's like, hey, protect the little girl. Make sure that nothing bad ever happens to her. And it's like, my feels.
That's a message or a gameplay theme that everybody.
Yeah, protect child. I don't know. People, I find it a little bit weird that Capcom is going on the how do I put it? The parental trade, because Resident Evil Grace, apparently all she does the entire game is like be a mother.
I'm not familiar enough with it, but I have heard similar things that's pretty heavily implied in the theming of what they're trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
It's because
and then you have this
character or one of the antagonists like turn himself into a little girl or something.
So basically, in that game, a little girl, she's a bioweapon.
Okay.
And Grace has to protect her.
Fair.
So she's like, I'm going to protect you, little girl. And then it turns into, oh, God.
Horror and shenanigans ensue.
Yeah. And Grace the entire time is like literally just like a scaredy cat.
Right. And see, that's what I was going to mention. The impression that I was left with, at least seeing media about it, is that the game basically has two, like, as far apart as you can imagine gameplay styles. Grace quivering and missing her shots on close encounter, frenetic, true horror experience, and then Leon comes in, drops a one-liner and a suplex, and rips his shirt off for some WWE SmackDown stuff, and I admire the boldness of that kind of game design.
Yeah. It's one of those things where it's like, as I'm watching Leon Kennedy just murder everything, and then Grace is like, I have to sneak around. It's like, they should really make a John Wick game. They could.
I was gonna say, or I should mention, there's one game from like the 360 era that I still play pretty much every night. And honest to God, I think it's the closest that a person nowadays can get to an honest to God John Wick simulator, and that's SplinterCell Conviction. The game has a number of interesting design choices, but in it they imported the execution system from Assassin's Creed and adopted it to a kind of shooter format, but they did it with a special condition. So you can mark enemies for execution, but you can only activate this ability after you've done at least one hand-to-hand kill. Mm-hmm. And so once you do hand-to-hand kill, you can then, it's basically insta-kill as long as they're within range, any 3 or maybe even 4 enemies at once. But the special extra fun part is that, say you have your execution active and you've marked 4 enemies. If you get super duper close to one of them and then hit the execution button, it does another hand-to-hand kill and then immediately chains into auto headshotting the other enemies. But the entire game is built around also parkour, attacking from above, below, like with like yanking enemies off ledges and things like that, or ambushing them from above. And you can, especially when the enemies start ramping up, I don't think there's a closer experience to being John Wick than what that game provides, if you ask me.
Well, the problem is that if Ubisoft makes it, they're just going to make it lame and gay.
You think so? Maybe they did, but I still have a lot of fun with it.
I mean, well, the problem is like we're talking about Ubisoft from back in the day, who was like, we have to make games for gamers and things that make sense. And Sam Fisher's one of our most precious pieces of IP, and we have to make sure that he's alive. And then this, in the same like breath, in the Netflix show, they have a Netflix show.
Is it?
Yeah, they did a Rayman. I don't think they did a Splinter Cell Netflix show.
I know it's at least in development, but I didn't know whether they had published it or not. I don't think they did yet, right?
Hold on. Splinter Cell Netflix. I know. Okay, so apparently the Splinter Cell Death Watch is out October 14th, 2025 on Netflix, and then they're doing a season 2.
I didn't know its first season was out.
Yeah, hold on. Let me look at let's look. Is this actually good? Because let's be honest here, like, hey, more Splinter Cell, I'll be happy. But they also made like another series where it's you have Rayman smoking coke.
What?
Yeah, you have Rayman smoking coke off of like a hooker's ass.
Hell yeah!
And that has Sam Fisher in it.
What?
And they literally kill him in like one episode he shows up. Oh yeah, they have Sam Fisher. He's a cripple.
What?
Yeah. He has no legs.
Okay, I'm gonna need a.
Okay,
source.
give me a second. Are you okay with gay shipped?
Possibly.
It's called Captain Laserhawk.
Let me look this up.
There has been no season 2 yet.
Okay, that's supposed to be Sam Fisher. Interesting. And he doesn't have legs.
Yeah. Oh, apparently they did release season 2. Okay. But yeah, they basically like they kill him in like the first episode he shows up, and they're like, ha ha ha. So I don't know. I think that Ubisoft right now is in an interesting place, but I would not trust them to make a game because everything that Ubisoft touches is actual dog shit.
Stained with original sin. Yeah.
They have somehow managed to embody everything that I hate about modern game institutions. Mm-hmm. And like it's not even like oh, you can't fix the problem. It's like Ubisoft, I just want the game to come out and be good now and be feature complete now. I mean, not to hate myself for purchasing a game that's $60.
That's like 20% now. Done. Yeah.
Yeah. And like I get that like you guys are working hard and stuff like that, but at the same time it's like it would be nice if like I bought a game and it was finished and you actually could like I could point to it and say, this is done, by the way. Thank you.
Right.
And not get the it's close to finished. It's like but it's not finished. And I would also like you guys not to make a game that just like caters exclusively to people who think that like all you have to do is have gay relationships and disrespect another culture entirely, and instead make a game that actually respects that culture. Just saying.
But you don't want a Black Samurai?
Mike, I wouldn't have minded if they had just not
borrowed all their source material from a literal plagiarist and like fabricator historian.
Yeah. And then have the balls in order to go up to Japanese people and tell them that they were actually mistaken.
You guys don't even know your own history, dudes. You guys got it wrong.
Like, I think that this says a lot more about the games industry when they're like when you have people being like, hey, I'm Japanese and I think that this is wrong, and then you have people being like, no, you actually are too retarded to understand your own history, and it's like, what?
That's a bold state of affairs.
Yeah. But moving on from Pragmata, a game that I will play more of. Might stream a little bit of it. Who knows? I guess now we have to talk about Mixtape.
Haven't played it, never will, and everything I see about it, it seems like I'm not terribly familiar. I'm not familiar enough with the term industry plant to feel like I'm using it properly. But based on my minimal understanding of the notion, this does seem like the better term, astroturfed. This is supposed to come off as some kind of indie dev project, but what I hear about the resources and kind of political will behind this game, so to speak, or industry pull that made this game happen, in addition to just the disproportionate praise, I can't think of a better exemplar of an industry plant than this game.
This game feels like as if what feels like is happening with this game is the same shit that happened with Marathon.
Perhaps even more severely, yes.
Yeah, because Marathon's actually a video game at the end of the day that people just don't like the art style of.
I don't like the art style, and I don't like that it was clearly trying to hop onto a trend, which, in terms of gaming, has to be one of the silliest moves you can make because, let's hop onto this trend, forgetting the fact that it takes about 4 to 5 years to make a game of any substance, especially in the AAA space, and by which point the trend that you've been chasing is now beyond irrelevance.
That's the thing is like I like Marathon because it's an interesting concept. I hate the art style. The gameplay is actually good. I actually bought the game and played it.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, you know what? I'm waiting for them to finally say "fuck you" and refunding everything.
Do the Concord.
Yeah.
That was under Sony's umbrella, right? They're the ones who acquired.
Sony should not be making. Sony is not allowed to make live service games anymore.
Nobody should be making more live service games. The market is full.
No, Microsoft should be because Microsoft can actually do a good job.
Okay, can and will there's a big lacuna there.
Yeah. I understand that. I'm just saying that Microsoft can do a good job because they've done a good job in the past.
Oh yeah, how's Windows 11 going?
Oh well, that's Sasha Nadella. We don't have to.
That's not actual Microsoft. That's
it's like communism.
But that wasn't real Microsoft. If I
that
ran
wasn't
Microsoft,
that wasn't real Microsoft. Yeah.
Lol.
Yeah. No, like here's the thing: is Mixtape feels like as if like it's one of those games where it's like you're waiting for the part where the mask comes off and you're seeing these people be like, no, it should be a success, and it's like, why? Like what is this? Is this what you want gaming to be? And it's like, yes, and it's like, okay, so you want gaming to be the person you're constantly beating down a occupation that actually is very noble and attacking it. And then the only thing that you can praise is actually the fucking soundtrack, which isn't even made by the people that you're talking about.
Yeah, it's how expensive would the licensing be? I've heard about the soundtrack of the eponymous game, and if the soundtrack is as loaded as I hear it is, like the licensing on that alone is just bonkers.
Mm-hmm.
if that's not a thing you praise, I mean, good taste for you, I guess, but that still doesn't say anything about the game itself, which I heard has 0 fail states. You can't lose the game.
Mm-hmm. Well, like so the way that the gameplay works is like basically if you die, if you hit a car or something like that, it will basically just like immediately just throw the entire game. What?
Does it like rewind?
Yeah, pretty much.
Gross.
And it's like, I don't know. Part of me is like, kind of like, I kind of hope this happens. And like, I really understand why people are getting like upset by it, but at the same time, I'm like, hey, the video game industry needs to
what, die?
The video game industry deserves a lot of what's happening right now.
Yeah. There's a lot of excesses that need to be curbed. There's a lot of bad faith actors and bad attitudes that have just nested and germinated way too long and to much more a severe degree than was ever necessary, and just some good old fashioned greed. There's a lot of things that could stand to be corrected.
Just, you don't have to make you don't have to make a brand new like game that looks basically like Spider Into the Spider-Verse. That makes sense?
Yeah.
And like hey, that's kind of cool that you were able to do that, but at the same time it's like, hey, like maybe you should do a little bit of gameplay with that.
No, I think there's just been an over-germination of the notion that, if the story's good enough, that can be its own substitute for gameplay, but that would be ignoring the purpose of the medium in question. If you just wanted to like tell a story with a very rigid sense of pacing and emotional context, you could do that with a movie. But absent gameplay, like the question is behooved: what is the point of making a game as opposed to just making it animatic? Oh, is it because if you did making it animatic or a machinima, you'd have a completely different audience and market, and it likely wouldn't be exposed to nearly as many people, and they'd probably regard it with contempt or apathy at most. I wonder.
I mean, that's probably exactly what they were thinking. But the problem is like they were also probably thinking something along the lines of like, hey, there's no bad press. And
that's just not true.
We've also seen like many people say like, well, we've also seen many games fail because the writing was awful. Veilguard comes to mind.
Of course. Tell me, is the writing in? I haven't looked at it deeply. Is the writing in Fixed Tape? Is it any good?
It seems like the way that somebody has said it is that they said it makes them embarrassed to be a millennial,
as they should. I am ashamed. I too am ashamed to be a millennial. I still stand by the position that we are now to blame for majority of the problems, at least with regards to cultural impact. I stand by the theory that we've been, as a cohort, out of university long enough to now diffuse ourselves by means of normal distributions into most workplaces, into most workforces, and not just that, to also ascend up the competency hierarchies that would put us in positions of decision making and policy and so on and so forth.
I would agree with that.
If millennials were ever going to become writers, directors, producers, it would probably be happening by around this time, if not already, in which case it is us that is foisting these specific cultural narratives and imports on everybody else, to everybody else's detriment. I squarely blame millennials.
I agree with you on that. The problem I have with that statement, though, is the fact that, like, how do I put it? The problem I have with that is that it's only been a select group of people who've refused to ever even remotely listen to people and the other person's opinion. And that has done a lot of millennials. Yeah. Like, it has gotten to the point where, like, we have racism coming back in droves. And you have people being like, well, it's not my fault. And it's like, I don't think you understand, like, the issue that people have.
Not the least of which is that, generally speaking, as an age bracket, as a cohort, we are averse to the notion of accountability because we've been raised and led to believe in a universal kind of victimhood, which not without some reason and justification, but I mean, how many times can you be told you've been screwed over by the economy, you've been screwed over by bad leaders, you've been screwed over by tragedy, arresting you of your opportunity? How long can you be exposed to a diet of that kind of messaging and not internalize the notion, I am always a victim, I will always be a victim, there's something I can be but a victim, and therefore everybody else, the ones who are making victims out of me?
Well, speak for yourself, but well, yeah, you're 100% right. And like, but the problem is like, you can always tell the ones who should be doing the talking, because they're the ones who, they rise above that stuff. Mm-hmm. And that's always been the thing, is like mixtape doesn't feel like as if it's something that's rising above that stuff. It feels like as if like, hey, look at this person this cop who's a dad. Isn't he a bad person? It's like, this is completely understandable. Yeah. Like, this is completely understandable. Oh, well, the game is like 3 hours long. It's like, okay. Why
substantial.
Why is this not a movie?
How expensive is this game? By way of curiosity.
Look, it's on Game Pass for free.
Right,
so I'm probably going to play it. So mixtape is, well, it's on for 10% off, actually.
Tight.
Yeah. Hey, we're already improving a lot. It is $23.39. So the price of 1 month of Game Pass, you can buy mixtape.
$23. That is just about enough. Like, okay, what can I say? I'm thankful that it didn't have the gall, or let's say the boldness, to be $60 or $80 or $100. Hooray for that! But at 3 hours and substantial gameplay, this should have been an indie dev project and sold for at most like $10. $20 still sounds egregious, and is just due to it sounds reflective of a bunch of industry backing, where they're like, we need a high profile game to get people invested into Game Pass. We need something to legitimize it, to legitimize our space. So let's get something that poses as indie but as sanitized via AAA filtering, and therefore backing, to get people back into Game Pass. That's my only explanation for it. It's just an industry plant, plain and simple.
Well, like, here's the thing: is like, if you want to get people back into Game Pass, I'll just plainly tell you how to get people back into Game Pass. Shadow drop more fucking video games.
Or just, is there any kind of like, with the Xbox, you know better than me, is there any kind of like sanctioned emulation? Like, can you play what kind of old games can you play?
So I have all access to almost everything that Microsoft has published. So, and every single company's backlog, because I'm a Game Pass subscriber.
So can you play games on like the original Xbox, the 360? How far back does it go?
So basically every single Microsoft title that has been released, so like everything from Double Fine and onwards, is backwards compatible with Game Pass.
Interesting. Okay.
The difference is that I don't think that like that applies to like I know for a fact that like that applies to like Blizzard games as well. So like, for example, being Game Pass Ultimate, I can play through every single WoW game. They still don't allow, oddly enough, they really should do this. It really feels like as if like it's missing one or two features, and that mainly being like, hey, where's my WoW client for my Xbox? Because they own the company.
Right. See, yeah, that's, if you ask me, if you hired me out of the blue to be a consultant for Xbox, and they said, hey,
you'd be better than Anita.
We are losing, or let's say we want to gain market share with specifically the millennial group. Do you have any ideas on like what we can put on the storefront or emphasize in our marketing campaigns to claw back some of that market? I could think of less cloying ways than coming out with a game like Mixtape, as opposed to maybe just like making people aware. I don't know how widespread the knowledge is that there's potentially this huge backlog of games that people got to enjoy from way back in the day, and they're in the golden era of gaming, that they can participate in if they should just join Game Pass. I don't know why they're not trying. If again, I'm assuming that their market goals are, let's appeal to sappy millennials.
This to me feels like something where they have been very much dealing with the fallout of Sarah Bond.
Sarah Bond, who's that?
Sarah Bond was the head of Xbox when Phil Spencer was the head of Microsoft Gaming.
Is she the one that during the Xbox One's original press conference, where she's like, Xbox is about to become the next water cooler, or is that somebody else?
That was somebody else.
That's somebody else. Oh, who was that? I gotta find that out.
Here's the thing. Okay, I'm going to go on a little bit of a rant. Okay.
Sure.
They should have made two products. They should have made two Xbox products.
Okay.
And like now that gaming has where Xbox is, like, and everything like that, now it feels like as if they're ahead of their time. Like all of the decisions that they were making back in the day for the Xbox X, the Xbox One, it feels like those decisions were ahead of time, and they should have just been like, yeah, like if you have they should have just immediately had done this very simple thing of being like, if you have a disc game, like, yeah, you can just share it with your friend and neighbor and stuff like that. But if you buy a game online, you can share it with your friend and neighbor.
Yeah, it seems like way back when they made promises to their board of operators about where exactly the product was going to be taken, because they were the dominant force on the market. They made promises to their board members saying, we're going to stick by the real margins are going to be gained by sticking to this DRM stuff. So we're going to hold the line and dig our toes in with regards to this crap. And that spiritually lost them the war immediately. It forfeited their place as the dominators of the gaming space, at least with regards to the console wars.
Well, and like that was the thing, right? Is like they could have easily had just maintained the same level of quality, and they would have been like,
nuts and bolts. The original everything from the Xbox One, if it wasn't tainted with original sin and contempt, the Xbox One was like a perfectly adequate evolution of the platform. It was capable of a lot more than the 360, and graphics tech was up there. It just had to be not handled by complete morons. But that's unfortunately what happened.
And like the other thing is like here's the thing. It's like they sat there and they introduced TV features. Mm-hmm. I'm going to be honest with you. How many gamers do you know that are like, man, guys, I really want to watch this TV show that is like, I really want to watch this TV show and stuff like that back in the day. How many people...
The next water cooler. God damn. I found the quote. It's attributed to Nancy Tellum is her name.
Oh, God damn. But yeah, no, Asha Sharma has been doing work. She's been writing this ship, oddly enough. Everybody was like, the AI lady is going to burn everything to the ground. It's going to be terrible. Oh, God. And oddly enough, she's been like, how about I do the smart things?
Oh, yeah? Pretty tell.
So, first thing she does. So, Asha Sharma, she comes out first day. She's like, hey, guys, I'm such a gamer. I'm the biggest gamer. And everybody's like, that's a lie. That's a lie.
I think I might have heard something about this where she, like, looked at the most, like, did she have the most, like, cliched, like,
achievements?
Really Googleable gamer response to something?
Yeah. So she was doing this, and then a week later, she's like, by the way, Game Pass is slower. And you're like, what?
Okay.
Okay. And then she does another, and then she goes like, hey guys, do you want this as boot sequence for your Xbox? I was like, yeah. Yeah, actually, I do. I do want this boot sequence, and it's like the boot sequence is literally harboring back to like the Xbox like One.
Ooh, like the original Xbox.
Yeah, the OG.
That's tight. So somebody stepped in and was like, "Okay, listen, you stick a shoe in your mouth, say only this, and make these business decisions. You will
whoever their advisor whoever their advisor is, and she is listening to them. Oh,
they're not getting paid enough. Yeah."
Watch it be Phil Spencer.
Phil Spencer actually putting in the work behind the scenes. Good old Spencer.
He's like, by the way, do this. Okay.
Oh, hey, it's working. How'd you know that? I'm just
she's rebranding the entire company to Xbox. So remember when I said that like Microsoft has shifted to Microsoft Gaming?
Yeah.
The entire division is now just Xbox.
It's trying to like divest itself from the Microsoft brand.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And then now we have the best part is like she's like, hey guys, do you like Xbox or do you like Xbox? And Xbox, one of the Xboxes is like Xbox with a capital X, and the other one is Xbox with a capital XBOX. And everybody was like, it was 2-1. I like the all capitals. And you're sitting there being like, this isn't going to mean anything. And then literally the next day she's like, oh, by the way, we're rebranding everything to Xbox.
Crowdsourcing their marketing decisions to like Twitter and whatever, that seems like playing with fire. But honestly, it's about the best that they could hope for trying to get in touch with the zeitgeist. So good for them.
You compare it to Sony.
Backfire, but we'll see.
You compare it with Sony, who's like in solution to 95% of the problems are, hey, let's ship a live service game that's shit. And then followed by, and this is the thing that I should have mentioned on the topic list, followed by like going, by the way, Bungie's not worth as much as we paid for them anymore.
No, they aren't. But that may be a little much for us to unpack tonight. My wife's giving me some side eyes, and I think I gotta go give her some love. So I think I might have to wrap it up here, my friend.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah. Thank you everyone for listening to Robot Lumberjack Radio. We started at 9:00. Thank you, Mike. You go pump a baby in that woman.
Okay.
Don't. No, I'm sorry. That was cringe. I'm sorry.
That's funny. That's good.
Okay. Have a good night.
You too. Bye.
Bye. Oh.
Tom Clancy's Shadow infrared sight, Rainbow Six Ghost Recon cashing the checks. Now you're selling NFTs and remaking old specs. Assassin's Creed bloated 100 hours of parkour. Star Wars I lost flop, couldn't even score. Layoffs in Montreal, projects in the bin, executive bonuses while the devs are all in. Ubisoft's falling apart. Play They said with a grin, new engine, new story, let the cash roll in. But the trailer dropped and the fans all screamed, what the fuck did you do to our tactical dream? Spine snapped in a cutscene, wheels instead of stealth. No more knife in the dark, just rent for good health. Adaptive difficulty for the broken back. Microtransactions for payment in a premium pack. Ubisoft's falling apart, crumbling from the core, turning legends to wreckage, begging for more. Sam Fisher in a wheelchair, no more triple jumps, paraplegic in the dark, just a shadow off the ground, falling apart. SplinterCell, falling apart. Watch the empire fail. Remember when you made games that hit like a truck? Now it's live service slop and endless bad luck. Skull and Bones sailed straight into the ground, while Sam's doing wheelies on the battle pass round. Shareholders clapping as the stock price tanks. Another remake coming, yeah, we'll say thanks. Ubisoft's falling apart. Yeah, we see the signs. Sam Fisher rolling silent through these broken times. No more goggles glowing, no more fishes here. Just another franchise crippled by your fear. Falling apart.
The second one seems okay.
Pragmata?
Yeah.
It's probably going to be game of the year.
GOTY, no, that's going to be a mixtape for sure.
Oh, no, mixtape is... the problem with mixtape is that, like...
Should we sync up so we can get some opinions on record?
Well, yeah. Let's sync. But, like, the thing is yeah, you'll never ever see a more clear definition of the divide between the press and gamers. Yeah. And then followed by the why aren't you listening to me? This is supposed to be a success.
Yeah, forced it upon us, yeah.
Yeah. But sync in. We'll start syncing. So sync in 3, 2, 1.